Hello Internet, my name is Lave and I watched The Festival, which is directed by Iain Morris, who was the writer on the UK version of The Inbetweeners and also directed both of the movies. And he's in familiar territory here with his latest following a guy called Nick, who gets dumped by his girlfriend upon graduating from uni. So to help him recover, he and his best mate Shane go to a music festival for 3 days of mud and mayhem. So any eagle-eyed viewers will notice that 1/4 of The Inbetweeners also stars in this. That is Joe Thomas, who played Simon in the original Inbetweeners but is playing Nick in this, but is basically playing Simon again. Both characters have exactly the same character arcs, only in the Inbetweeners it was unfolded over 3 series and 2 movies, whereas in this one it's condensed down into an hour and a half, which begs the question, why didn't they just make this an Inbetweeners 3 movie? I was actually missing the other guys. I think it would have been better had Will, Neil and Jay popped up as well. Instead we get substitutes in the shape of Shane, played by Animashaun, if that's how you pronounce his name. He's loyal to Nick but also gets neglected by him. He wasn't as annoying as the trailers made him out to be. I actually quite liked this character. They're also accompanied by a girl called Amy, played by Claudia O'Doherty. She's an Australian loner who they meet on the train on the way up there, who's a bit annoying. She's basically a rip-off of the girl from Bandcamp, but I did grow to quite like her as well. There's also a couple of celebrity cameos thrown in there as well. Noel pops up as a deadmau5 Daft Punk ripoff, this DJ called Hammerhead. Jermaine Clement is also in there as Shane's stepfather. He's really good. Both are really good actually, but are underutilised. Nick Frost pops up as well, but doesn't really add anything to it. And Joe Thomas himself is a good sport and all that. His character is put through multiple compromising, cringeworthy scenarios. There's plenty of dick, shit, piss, sex, drugs and masturbation jokes in there to keep teenagers amused, but it all felt a bit recycled to me. It felt like they had leftover jokes from the Inbetweeners that they didn't use, so they just repackaged it and put it into this. And I do hate the fact that I keep referring back to the Inbetweeners, but what I think made that so successful was that the characters and the scenarios that the characters were in felt like they were written from a place of real authenticity. I think all of us could recognise something in those characters. And I think that does happen in this as well. There is one great moment when Nick is standing in the field and he gets asked to move. I'm sure that's probably been inspired by something that happened in real life, but then the film feels like it overstretches with this subplot about druids, which wasn't really funny. I will say that the film does benefit from actually shooting at a real festival. I believe they shot at Leeds Festival in 2017, so the scope of the festival and the atmosphere with all of the people there is captured, but it's clear the budget didn't stretch to include any of the musicians or their music, unless you include Big Nasty in that, which I definitely am not. The only bit of money I think they did spend on the music was on The Killers and Mr. Brightside, which is a great song, but it's been done to death and isn't very inspired. They probably spent so much money on it that they had to use it twice, which they did. You get to hear it in its original form and then you hear a remix of it, which funny enough I think is a good analogy for this film. It's a remix of something we've already seen before, but when watching it I was thinking of the original the whole time. So that's my thoughts on The Festival, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. Maybe I'm just getting a bit cynical in my old age. I think festival goers and teenagers are going to enjoy this and are probably going to laugh at all of the dick and fart jokes. When I think back to films like this in my youth, the film for me was Kevin and Perry Go Large, and I recognise that it's not a good film now, but it was totally tapping into my mentality at that age, and I'm sure this film is doing the same for kids today. But I want to end this on an analogy. I had a friend growing up who I'm not going to name, but he was always the one who got far too drunk and stripped off naked and got his willy out. He did it so often that all of my mates just became accustomed to it. So whenever he did it, we were just like, oh, he's naked again. But any onlookers were like, oh my God, that's hilarious, it's funny. And that's how I kind of feel about this film. I've kind of seen it and done it all before. So thanks very much for watching my review of The Festival. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like and don't forget to share the Lave. Brilliant. Subscribe.